Hey guys, it's Ben here from Second Dynasty. I'm sorry, I was just answering some questions on the Facebook. A few people seem to be having trouble with the discount codes today. I suspect it's more that they're probably trying to Sorry, I'm just sending off that answer. Alrighty, so let's get to this. So you guys might have already seen in our various different media that today is Second Dynasty Day. Hooray! And as a part of that, we are doing a massive sale, just a flash sale, so it's only for 24 hours. I say plus minus 12 hours because we've already been going for a little bit, and it will end at some time on the 23rd actually, to account for different time zones. So I think we even made the code work until midnight tomorrow night Swedish time, so you have a little bit of time. But the idea is today is sale day. You put in your code. I'm hearing back from some people, I don't know if anyone's bought anything in the sale, that are on Tribes, that they're having issues with the automatic Tribes discount code. I know people have gotten the Sleipnir not for $22.22, but for $16 because their Tribes code is working on top of that. So, yay for them. Less yay for me. In any case, I hope that just means more people get to play with Sleipnirs. It's only one day. There's a ton of different add-ons that people can get. So I'm hoping that it's all working out okay so far. Now, before we get into the problem of the day and show off what we've been working on, because this stream is replacing my regular Friday stream, I did make this all about Second Dynasty Day, so I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. And I'm wondering if I have actually... let's see, we need to go here. There's some information on the Delta campaign page. The Delta, by the way, is finishing in the same period. We extended it a little bit, so it will end tomorrow, just so that we don't create any confusion with our cross promotions. Because today we have all kinds of things going on. We've got the final funding for the Delta. We are, I think, close to hitting $15,000. I think we're at 14,603. So hopefully we get a few pledges. This banner's going up on my mini factory this afternoon, and an update is coming out tomorrow. Tonight in a newsletter. So hopefully that will lead to some additional sales. Otherwise, the code is on the campaign page for the Transport Delta 2400, and we also have a page up on our web page and a page up on my manufacturing story. Sorry, I haven't had any caffeine this week, and it's making me a bit slower than usual. Hello to some of the new people. Let's see. This is weird. Why isn't the stream showing me? I'm just going to reset the stream studio there, because I can't, it's not showing me. Oh, there it is, how many viewers are on. So in any case, yeah, nice to see a couple of new faces. Sorry about how all over the place I am, but yeah. So today, plus 12 hours, we have this Second Dynasty Day 2024 code that you can use on our My Mini Factory store. To be clear, the store is not Frontiers and not Tribes. It is specifically, if you go to our profile, or actually no, if you follow this convenient link, open in a new tab here, it will come to our store page. You can see our store, you can see it loading all the items, so you can get the discount codes on these public items. Now, a number of items are hidden, and they usually are attached to campaigns. For example, the Grant Cab module, it is normally attached to the Traveller Smallcraft campaign. So you can probably pick that up super cheap today, I think, if it is public. Yeah, there are a variety of different things here. People that wanted to buy the Cerberus, for example, by itself. I wonder why this Sleipnir graphic isn't updating. That's annoying. I'm going to check that out real quick. I'm going to go to edit. And then we're just going to go down and double check that this is set as the primary image, which it is. So I don't know why that was happening, but yeah. So it is only the store page here. It isn't our frontier. Obviously, it would be a bit silly of us to finish a campaign and offer discounts on something where, you know, we would be doing dirty to our initial backers. So,
but I'm just curious. So is the Sleipnir for $22 at the moment?
Yes, it's meant to be for $22.
Do people know how big the Sleipnir is? Should I bring it in to...
No, let's not bring it in. It's too big. If they want to find out more, we have a bunch of graphics on here. You can go and check it out. It's got 11 decks. There's a little bug here. We'll need to edit that later, but I don't think it's anything that's too drastic. And then, of course, the other thing on top of the Sleipnir deal, okay, you can't apply a code to that, but apparently the Tribes code, like, the Tribes discount is automatic now. So, yeah, I think you can get that for $16. The Tribes trial, and here's a hint, is still going on. So if you haven't joined our Tribes yet, you can get this month's offerings, which includes the previous month's offering, the JAS-41 Vampiren, which is our interpretation of what a Saab stealth fighter might look like. And then you can also get the Stalwart Drive, which is the second part of our multi-part ship that we're doing. Next month we're doing the nacelles, and it is finished, as you can see here. I've taken some pictures of the full version. What we're actually putting out is just this module. So if you wanted the saucer section, you need to buy that separate if you don't already own it, and so on. And yeah, just a few more things there to celebrate, you know, the amount of different things we've actually put out last year on Tribes. We did all of these vehicles. Tribes is like a Patreon, only we kind of stand out from the other My Mini Factory Tribes in the sense that we offer a $5 vehicle every month. Those prices may change a little bit in the future, not for existing Tribes backers, so it's good to get in at the moment and, you know, subscribe for next month so you can get the nacelle pack. And I'm going to show you why that's not as boring as it sounds in just a little bit.
Looking forward to this.
So, before we get too far on, I just put out a release of the Grant Cab on My Mini Factory. Sorry, I did an update on Kickstarter saying that we've put out the update. Albin's also very close to putting out something himself today. I'm going to show that off in a little bit when we have our show and tell segment. And I just need to change one last thing here. So I'm going to take the top off. Sorry, that should be in the top layer as well. That's selected there so we can sort of see down into the model. So John's chair styles, ignore these chairs, they're not the exact kind we actually use in the final version. They use these plugs instead, so that you don't have to rely on filament. What I didn't do though is make this notch when I exported this side. So we need to have a version, oh and look, it has a gap there. So basically all I'm going to do is rip out this and put it there. So I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to delete, whoops, all of this, and some of this. So I mean, this is the last day too for our amazing Delta 2400 series. I really enjoyed making it, but I'm also, well, I'm looking forward to leaving it behind now. The next project I get to work on is our, let's see, just making sure that's all one object. This is a bit of a worry, the fact that it seems to think there's two. Okay, What was the one? That's so odd. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. So we basically just need to remove all of these. What's that, Alvin?
Is there an object that's grouped or something?
I don't think so. I know that these meshes are a little bit dodgy. So yeah, I'm just taking this out, that out, and this out, and we're going to redo our export, and then actually live on the stream we'll update the let's see, put that there, and then I'm going to move the pivot point to this corner. We're going to update the product. So I don't know, do you guys want to see what happens behind the scene with that, or is that not of interest to you? Let me know in the comments. And if you're joining us late, again, probably to part the way into the 23rd, that discount code will work. We did make one for Tribes as well at 50% off. I don't know how that's going to work now, or if like we're better off. I don't know, if Tribes people are only getting a 25% discount, that's an issue. But I can't really check that while I'm on stream. So right now we're looking for our export map. We're going into small craft, we're going into stretch goals, we're going into the grant cab, and I guess what we're looking for is in the inserts, the console, insert starboard, because it is on the right side of the ship, facing forward. And then what we're going to do is, this is my build plate. I'm just going to be cheeky and replace this model. So I'm going to go grab this replaced version. It won't be oriented right. It will need some patching up. Yeah, I knew there was some dodgy business going on. Oh, we forgot to close those polygons off as well. So I'm just going to go and do fix by Windows repair algorithm here. And we're going to rotate this into the correct orientation for printing. So we're going to make it upright, and then we're going to turn this like so and refit it back into the build plate. So, and then what we do is we go export STL, and then we just save over the top. Now, instead of doing the same with the opposite side, and I'm just going to make sure that we do have that little indentation here, which we do. And the reason being that if the flat end here didn't work correctly, it actually bumps into a curve in the hull, which is why we needed to change it. So I'm just going to go back here. You got 50% as a try, but that's great. What I think was happening is that the person in question was buying a bunch of stuff, including the Sleipnir, and it was applying the 25% to the Sleipnir and then getting confused about, saying no, this other discount overrides the other one. So I think just buying it separate is the solution. So now if we just go mirror along x-axis and then export again, what I do is I save over the top of the port one instead, and then we just go back a step. So undo, and then we go replace with STL, and we choose the port side one, and we just move it back into place. And we need to reorient this again. Well, the fact that it's on its side is a bit of a worry. It doesn't have any errors, but it is the correct way. So, okay. The important thing is it's mirrored. And we turn that there. Move it back onto the plate. This plate is a bit tight, but it seemed easier than putting it on a bunch of other plates. So I might just do another export, or rather export as selected, click save, and actually did that stuff it up? No, it's in the right orientation. Okay, great. So, and then we just save this plate again, save project. The other thing I forgot to do was actually, well, the reason I'm changing it is because I had the wrong plug type in those. And there was another minor issue with this ring here where it didn't have an extra floor. At least I think that's it. One. Yeah. And we also forgot this front partition here So that's going to get saved out. Actually, I already saved it. So we want to get into our file system, opening up the Grant Cab module here. I'm going to delete the existing one. I'm just going to be a bit cheeky and grab, let's see, I want to go to Grant Cab there, making sure this is in production, so it's the right one. And then we're just going to drag this into our zip file, like so. And then we should just be able to close this off. And I think if we go to our library here, I should be able to find the cab here. It's the latest one. If I go and view this object, I can go to edit. And I can also change the zip file here. So I'm just going to add the new zip file. We need to go into our catalog, zip files, Smallcraft. It's getting really hard for us to navigate our own stuff at the moment. We do have some internal sort of catalog, but Lieselot's the only one that knows anything about it really. I'm just going to go and add one last image. Actually, I'm going to do that off camera. And the reason for that is because it's using my phone as the source, and I would rather not share personal photos in a public forum, even though the only stuff really there is pictures of my dog. So I'm just waiting for that to sync properly. For some reason it's like, no. I just saw the meme, picked the wrong week to give up caffeine. Yes, I did. Alright, so it looks like it's finally refreshed, and we'll just stick in some of these pictures. Where did I go? There we go. Let's drop that in, and that should be fine, I think. So we can kind of see the physical model about to pop up. My Mini Factory does have a tendency to be a bit slow. I don't know if it's our final pricing, but it is for today, so I guess you can pick it up for $5 since it's public. And yeah, we just go to publish, and we wait for the X to disappear up in the corner. Let's see. There we go. So that should be live. If I go to view object, and if you hit download, it should download the new version. So, and we got the new picture as well. So you can kind of see it close up. This is still like just a tad bit, it still has 1 or 2 errors in it, but I think the casual viewer will not notice. So maybe now I can actually look at the chat a little bit. The huge peg limits design. Well, not really an issue for human chairs. Anything else has to have a large base, a smaller holes, and also not as intrusive. I agree about that, but the simple fact is, if you the filament's too loose in most cases. If you wanted to remove the holes, you could fill it in with filament. That's what we used. Oh, fill it in. Okay, I guess. Anyway, Pulsified said, okay, going to create more for work for Second Dynasty, but what if the seats came with either connection, both the round peg and the filament mount? Yeah, I mean, they kind of do in a sense, because there are versions of it with and without. And I mean, I did have the old version of those parts with the holes, so technically you could probably choose that if you really wanted to. Okay, thanks Alex for confirming that. And hey Mad Mike, and welcome to the stream. It's nice to have you with us. If you've been trying to catch it live for a while, I guess the Thursday helps in some sense. So normally we do stream on Fridays at the same time, but tomorrow I'm at home with the dog, and today is Second Dynasty Day, so we want to be celebrating that. Anyway, again, before we get too far, I just wanted to go over the Transport Delta. We have unlocked 6 stretch goals. They are all released aside from the miniature version of the the Delta 2400 series. So if you get that base ship, again, it's full price, but it's already discounted because you get all of these extras anyway. But I really love that little turret in that lighting. It looks really cool. So where am I going? I want to go to the milestones. We did add a new milestone, just in case, to get us bumped a little higher. So I put at $17,000 this phaser turret. And it is actually a ball turret. I'm going to go to the show and tell part of our show, I guess. It's not really a show, but I do like to sort of go to the close-up camera and try to show you. So this is the test print. Yes, it looks suspicious. But the neat thing with this ball is that it's actually spherical. So we could potentially mount more like Regault-style guns on that. We could put cameras on it. All kinds of things. And despite the fact that this looks simpler, this is actually a standard turret ring with a bottom ring that actually locks in the ball. So it does friction fit at the moment. And it is a bit stubborn, but it can turn and orient. And I'm sure you guys are having a field day with comments at the moment.
First comment was, and demonetized.
Now, the next thing I want to show off is the thing that I was photographing, which is the cab. I don't want to make the mini sort of hop up and jump around, but you can see in there we've got our front bed section. Oh, there he goes. He's rolling about. I guess these intense maneuvers are not good for a good old Cataziner. We have the kitchenette. I'll just move him. Or them, I guess. Technically, it's a transgender character that my friend named. So we have a kitchenette in there. I'm sorry, it's not focusing. I'm trying to get away from my hair again. Focus here. Nope, not cooperating. But yeah, you can see there we've got our step up to the cab. The cab itself, nice window space, and you've got your standard fresher in the in the ventilation room, in the HVAC room. So yeah, this comes together nicely. Like the look of it. It feels good. It's a much nicer design, if you ask me. If I put the top on, or tops rather, so we've got this top, just slots in here rather nicely. And remember, guys, or those of you who have been with us on the stream for a while, how I've been fretting about those windows printing properly without supports? Well, I forgot to put supports in, and they printed fine. I don't know how. It feels like it shouldn't be right, but yeah. There is the top. It does have this little hook on that we showed last week that just helps you sort of like get your fingernails onto it so you can pull it off, because it is a snug fit so that you can basically do maneuvers. Like all of our small craft models, it has the side airlock that slides open. So that's that one. Just need to attach it to another craft. Let's see, where should we go next? Maybe to my table of goodies. Oh, if you are trying out the tribes for the first time, this is one of the models. This is the Vampirin I was talking about. The flaps are articulated. The engines are articulated. Oops. So you can... sorry, you can move these up and down. Very nice. It does have missile bays underneath. I don't have the missiles in at the moment, but you can kind of see this is a complex one. The more complex stuff we make does come with instructions. And we do have one coming for the Starwood Saucer, but it's getting a slight update soon. Wow, nothing's in focus now. Great. Then the next one I want to show off is the big one. I can't play with this, and I say play with this because that's what it feels like, without humming certain tunes. I'm going to try and avoid it at the moment, but I would just say a soundtrack that sounds an awful lot like the soundtrack from Aliens. Here we go. I couldn't resist actually printing the nacelles to see how it would look. So this is the Stalwart in its final version, and we're going to be talking about this one in just a little bit. I will take off the decks one by one. You can see the saucer section. The saucer section detaches. I want to be gentle. So you have your drive section. If we remove the top of that, so it looks like the replicator's gone all wonky. Let's put that back in. So you've got your little cabin in there. This front section, the actual sensor pops up, so you can have an observation window instead. I like that little... Ships look really cool if you're looking in through the windows and that. I don't know why, it's just sort of like something to do with the scale. So you can just flip that back into position, and then there'll be a variety of different warp nacelles that you could put on this thing. It doesn't have a garage door at the moment. It just uses like a force field. This isn't really designed to be an atmospheric vessel. Basically, if you imagine, obviously this is like a Star Trek style ship. I guess it would be the next size up from like a runabout or something. So you've just got a ship that's warp capable, that can do a little bit of scouting and exploring. Wouldn't it be cool if that little hatch at the top that looks remarkably similar to this space nipple could attach? And maybe the bottom could use something similar. I don't know. I don't think we can actually install it because of the way that this fits together. But I'm very proud of this. It was a bastard of a job. And way bigger than what our normal Tribes releases are going to be. So it really doesn't give it away just from the size there. And then Albin,
Yep.
bring me thy work from this week. It's time for show and tell. So let's pass this over the table really carefully. Oh, you've assembled lots of pieces here. So this is the vehicle module. It has a new, on this opposite side, sliding door, because we didn't have the room to make it slide upwards without... Yeah, we don't need that piece. If we look down, you can see the G carrier attached. This just lifts outright.
Yep.
Ooh, is it caught on something? So this is the lift out part. It is designed to just fit the back there. Unlike the image that I put up, this now has this sort of separator wall where you can put in a partition just a little bit of the way in. So you can have a ready room there. And the garage doors down the bottom also retract, but this version's a bit dodgy.
Yep.
The final version is better.
Yep.
So I'm just going to park that back in. Show and tell is now concluded. I can read the comments finally to hear what people are saying. So let me do that. I'll go back to my scene. You can admire the turret part without it looking too dodgy. I did actually added those vents in both because like I was looking at the face banks from the Enterprise A, and yeah, I put these vents in just to sort of reduce the appearance of a nipple that it was having. I hope that's not a banned word on YouTube. It seems like it probably shouldn't be, but you never know. So we're done with this. For now, I'm going to save the scene. And we're going to go to Tribes and we're going to look at the craziness that's going on here. So I'm just going to, for the time being, can talk about some of the other objects you might be seeing here in just a sec, but first let's isolate the main ship to get a better look of it in 3D at some of the detail we've put in. I want to redo the saucer at some point because these doors, there's nothing behind them. I did actually want to make a little cavity in there. I guess technically it's probably just a space toilet. And I was thinking maybe there would be a bed in here, like a little room where you could slide into a bed just to sleep, but I don't know.
A bed? I thought you said a bed.
No, we hide those. We don't tell people about it. Let's see. Second Dynasty, since it's Second Dynasty Day, will there be any talk about what's coming planned for the next year? Yeah, we can do that. Actually, we have, speaking of planning, we have one more thing we need to show off. Albin. So, I made an update for the tribes, speaking about what's coming out in April. We're just about to talk about what's coming out in March. Yes, that's the one. But it does not give an impression of scale about what Albin has done / worked on. We haven't got a name for it yet officially. We're just calling it the Walker tank, right? This is it. It is not a small model. I was like, oh, maybe we need something else as well for April, beside from this. And we do have something else, right? I think we showed it off last week with the turrets. But again, I just wanted to show how big this thing is. The legs are fully articulated. You can move them. Great stuff. Take it back, Albin.
Yeah.
So, yes, that leading question, I can talk about what is coming in the next while at Second Dynasty. So, once this is out, and I want to prepare the nacelles packet so it will come out on the 1st of March. We don't want to have any monthly delays or that sort of thing. What that's freeing me up to do is then work on our next project, which I'm very excited to do. Albin is going to cover the rest of, well, Albin and John are going to cover the rest of the small craft deliveries. We still have to figure out the map situation. Still haven't heard back from Dalton. Hope he's okay. But as far as we're concerned, I get to start the project I've been waiting to do this year. I realize it's almost 2 months in. I would have liked to start it earlier, but we're going to start on our Narcissus style ship. So it will be a shuttle type ship / lifeboat. It will have cryo-sleep chambers on it. It will have nooks and crannies for hostile alien life forms to hide in. And it will be able to dock with our big project for the year, which is going to be the Nostromo. When I say that, what I mean is it won't be a Class M freighter. It will be more like a Class G, so about a 45 to 50 meter vessel. That translates to about 2 feet by 2 feet by 1.5 feet tall. We do already have, actually, a sketch of it. Let's see, recent projects. I want to go to Starship 6, which will be its name. And Nostromo concept. I'll open this up. So obviously, no, that's just a project name. We're not going to call it the Nostromo. It will have its own name. But this is meant to be a ship that is designed to look like it fits in with the alien universe. So just as the Delta 2400, the Delta 1700, the Cerberus are all designed to feel like they fit in with a galaxy far, far away. They use the same design language as you would expect for that universe. The Nostromo will feel like an alien ship. So it is a much smaller sort of vessel, but it is going to be chunky. And there's all kinds of messy stuff in here at the moment. I don't know if we can turn that off. I guess not. The green represent walls, and there's a grid, so you can kind of see the level distribution here. It's going to have a hangar where you'll be able to fit an APC / exploration vehicle. We have a bridge. Probably not going to go for the exact same everythings. This might just be like a flat window or something. We might do more with like stretch goals and things that I can just, throw in to modify it, kind of like the same way that we did with the with the Notanante, which became Sleipnir. It still had, if you added a bunch of different stretch goals together, you could get the Notanante variant. So this is kind of about the size of the ship. I haven't really showed this off before. I want it to have some decent play space in it, so it probably is larger than the ship in Aliens. I don't know exactly how it's going to look by the time we're finished with it yet. This is just a concept. It's not even a concept actually, it's an extremely early rough out, and you can kind of see that I'm just in the planning stages of this thing. Here too, we're going to have room to fit metal hooks, because I've talked to Mika, and for the project we're looking to make it so that the ship could fit onto some like metal support rods, so that we can actually we're going to try and replicate the Nostromo landing sequence from the film. We'll see how that goes. Also, I don't know how far we want to take that. So it is going to look like it fits, but you can already see I'm working with these sort of like different shapes. We're going with the sort of insect-like. This is all just extremely rough at the moment, but you do get an idea of the size. I am interested in making this very stable, and that the main playable deck is going to be the bridge deck here, and you'll lift off the top decks on top of that. So we're going to definitely be using support rods. You can already see some in place here, or rather where they're going to go to have such a huge overhang here. That wouldn't normally be possible, but I think we're up to the engineering at the moment. This should be a slightly more modular design, maybe using some sort of Chimera style assembly. I'd love to be able to have a smaller variant of this, for example, that's maybe a bit more affordable. But we're going to have you'll have your hypersleep chamber, you will have your galley, you'll have your sort of hallways that already fit with. You can see that we've always sort of had this kind of template in mind right from the beginning when we were designing sci-fi terrain. So we're just going to create a natural evolution of that without stepping on the toes of, like we're using the design language. Again, the ship should feel like it fits into this universe. Although unlike the Nostromo, it's not going to have a ton of, wasted space. They have three decks on a 300-meter vessel. But it is going to have a maze of ducts and nooks and crannies for, hostile alien life forms to get around in. And of course, I'm sure we'll put in like a med bay or something. It probably won't be the same sort of size. Everything won't look the same as in the movie, but it will evoke imagery of that. I've kind of got this idea in my head of like, what if we did the UPP version of an alien ship? This wouldn't exactly be it. It would still use the same sort of semiotics, but like maybe have a more, I don't know, a Soviet look to it. Anyway, I've not been looking at the chat, so I should check out the chat and see what people are saying. Great cred there for the tank. By the way, that tank in May will be doing a manned version instead, where it's a proper walker tank. Yes, there are plenty of crawl spaces. Legwalk becomes Benga in Swedish. Not quite. It does sound really good though. Benga Lance Cannon. Yeah, that would be Bjorn Gore. And that's not how you would articulate it either.
It would be kind of funny though.
Yeah, but it really sounds like the Swedish version of English, so you did a fantastic job on that. Benga. It does sound like Gunplow or something like that. The Cerberus is so good, is a good stand-in for the Traveller subsidized merchant. Oh, that's cool. It does have too many guns on it though, doesn't it? Let's see. Duck Peterquin says, dang, that looks good. I love the playability. That's what I'm designing. See, this is the thing. Traveller has been so constraining because I'm trying to make a ship that looks aesthetically good but focuses on play. And the Odyssey was the first step in that direction. It does have the crawl spaces. It does have, multiple ways to gain entry into the bridge, for example, and that sort of thing. We want to be able to create something similar here. You'll notice too that there is actually a half-inch level in between every level. So this is a place where we can potentially have, crawl spaces and that sort of thing. I might even do some multi-level, like split-level style stuff. Can have an engineering observation room at the back here to sort of like keep an eye on the fusion drive. I don't know if we might stick that out a bit more. I just want a bit more space, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to supporting these metal rods so that we can actually do something cool with it, and then that might also let us mount it on the ceiling or something when we're finished. Ron Cobb rules. I agree with that. He is probably one of my favorite designers ever. And I prefer Ron Cobb even over Giga, if that says something. That blasted Samurai says, could you call the ship Batsman, which is translating Nostromo to the Italian to Swedish? Oh, again, you're missing a critical level there. A critical letter. The or is missing. Båtsman, you mean? No, that sounds töntig.
That's cute as hell.
So yeah, no, definitely not.
Tjorven maybe.
Sorry?
Tjorven.
No, we're not going to use. Well, I don't know. We'll see what we do. What's the Swedish version of Wayland Yutani?
Oh, that's a good question.
Norrland Bofors. Something like that. Take an existing company. Yeah.
Benfors maybe.
Benfors. It's too on the nose. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that, but I am looking forward to working on it. I wanted, before we run out of time, because apparently we've yacked on for 45 minutes at this point, I wanted to talk about the final part, the final frontier of the Stalwart. And again, I don't know, maybe we should give this a different name because we're kind of stealing it from John. This isn't John's original concept. It is my interpretation of that, and I took it to 10.5. Maybe not all the way to 11, but certainly not the boxy thing he was talking about. And I have to leave this now because in my brain I'm like thinking, well, we could actually make that saucer just that much larger, and it wouldn't look as weirdly conical as it does at the moment. You could make it look more Star Trek-y, and yeah, all of that definitely is on my mind. Let's unisolate this again and look at the stuff here. So the nacelles, they're going to have some variants. I kind of accidentally made this sort of in-between variant, which I'm definitely going to turn into one now. We're going to take that front part off, and this will just be metal, but it looks bulky and cool, so I'm going to keep that. We have more like our Galaxy class style, so you'll be able to swap those out and achieve different looks. And then we'll talk about this thing in a bit. If Wayland Yutani was Swedish, Hadley's Hope would have been put together with Alan Keith. Maybe. So the other thing too is we're going to support a variety of different ways to mount them. So the warp nacelles are quite low in this. I think we'll have 2 or maybe 3 different variants that we'll put out. So we have here this sort of like angled higher up version. My main reticence to doing this was you're obscuring the window view from the back of the ship, but maybe we don't care about that. Then we have this more angled version, And finally, we have the sort of like more traditional slanted version. So the ship will be even longer, a little bit less wide actually. So these will be coming out. The thing is, if you don't already own the Stalwart, these are quite useless. So aside from that, and the fact that I'll probably try and figure out a way to get this turret integrated, we are looking at a concept ship. This is extremely rough and extremely early, but my idea is this, right? In the Star Trek universe, you will hear often, warp 1, warp 2, warp 3, Sulu will count it off. And each warp speed, at least as of TNG and later, I believe, it works kind of like a Richter scale. So it is like warp 4 is not, one more times the speed of light compared to warp 3. It is 3 times 3. So it is, sorry about that. There'll be one more. And usually 2 and done. So it will be, it's exponential. Just saying that, Ben, that kind of explains it. So I had this idea about, okay, well, sure, those ships can get around and, in a matter of hours or days travel to other star systems. But what if you had a lower powered warp sled? Just a joyriding machine that you could literally take around the solar system. So I kind of had the idea of, how, well, you might not know, but in The Expanse, there are belters that like to race and push the limits of sort of like slingshotting and that sort of thing. This is kind of like The Expanse concept taken into like a Star Trek style universe, like a utopian future, if you will. At the moment, this is just a block out to give a concept. It's going to be way more streamlined. You can't even see. Actually, I think I should be able to turn on some lights. This might crash things, I don't know. If it does. No, it didn't. So it's definitely too bright. Maybe I can turn off some of these. Lower deck, let's see. Store drive. I'm just hoping these don't completely disappear. So new source are gone. Upper deck gone. There we go. Because that's taking out the additional light sources. So you can properly see the bubble now. So I'm trying to make this more like this, experience. So that you're in this, imagine if you will, you're in the position of the driver and you're just cruising the solar system. Basically the equivalent of, a motorcycle on a highway.
That looks awesome.
I see that blasted summer Fanges still trying to pimp his stuff again. Sadly, there will be a very human crew that gets sent out by the end of the month. We are starting to work with another sculptor, and that will be announced very shortly. We're not going to announce it publicly because it is like beyond Papsicles level of getting close to IP. It's more on the nose. There you will see. Yeah. Anyway, keep an eye out for that if you're a Tribes member. But yeah, this is the concept. I'm currently working on this. This is just working on where the windows are going to go. I wanted to have this nice open space. Again, this little module is more about figuring out the size of the space. The only thing I might leave is like, maybe we'll keep aspects of the interior. But the idea is this is not meant to be a craft that you spend days in. It's like a yacht. It's like a pleasure craft. Like a jet ski for the stars. Well, not the stars, for the area immediately around one star. So, yeah, I'm just going to take some of these edges and we're going to smooth them just to get that bubble looking properly. Kind of reminds me of Interstellar, the way that's warping. So yeah, it will probably have more of this bubble form, I think, coming into like a central section that's more like a ring, where we have, I don't think we need 2 airlock doors, and I think the warp nacelle 2 will probably give a bit more symmetry than this currently has. Let's see. Do you plan to offer variant parts for the Starwort? We might visit it again in the future. We'd have to figure out what kind of parts those would be, and whether or not it's worth our while to implement. Because like having a different saucer section, maybe not the worst thing in the world. As an experiment, generally like we try to keep our tribes projects to under a week of production time for the main thing. Usually, we can get it between 5 and 10 days, depending on the complexity of the model, how mechanical it is, and that sort of thing. The Starwort is more like in line with like I probably spent. Like, I would estimate that, like, I'm a lot quicker now, but the time I spent on it would probably be comparable to the time it would have taken me to make Shuttle Alpha in the beginning and its variants. So it's not really a suitable project size for a Tribes release. But, variants are a different animal, but also, perhaps a fully horizontal attachment for the nacelles. Like, as in, you want a top nacelle. That should be relatively easy to finagle up. Doing those kind of variants and that sort of thing. Like, you could certainly do them. The question is, like, how popular will this be? Sometimes it's really hard to know what people like from the Tribes. We don't get negative feedback usually, unless there's like something that is missing. Let's see. Perhaps a fully horizontal attachment for the nacelles. That's what you just suggested. That Blasted 7 Floyd says, I ask as you are using the phaser turrets, which has been replaced by phaser strips in Starfleet Tech Progressed. Yeah, but if you look at the warp nacelles, they're kind of more like, the original series, or rather the original films, I guess. The thing is, the phaser strips at this scale don't make sense. This is a very small ship. Having a turret makes more sense. This ship won't have very much power anyway compared to proper Star Trek ships. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. I don't want to turn everything else on. You can kind of see that this style of warp thing came from Shuttle Alpha. So I've taken that concept and worked on it some more. Kind of created this more like TNG style. Sorry, not TNG. TNG. Sorry, TOS is the original series. The Stalwart needs some large Salamander-esque crew. Yes, I saw that before. Chris Kenner says, I'd love to see a version of the Stalwart saucer hull with some sort of standard weapon hardpoints on the bottom so we could slot in some second Dynasty cannons. Yeah, sure. That, actually, we could probably do that when we're updating the saucer. It all depends. We're kind of getting to the point in the design phase where I just want to move on, which is a sad thing to be in. Sometimes I get stuck too long in that place. Rimden Lixfartig is not a typo. No, it's not. It's a luxurious space vessel, but it's also grammatically incorrect. And I think it would be... would it be Lix Rimfartig?
Yeah. Lix would be first.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the question is whether it would be a 40 or not. Lyxkryssare. And then that's difficult. I'm not sure.
I really don't know, because my wife is not a sci-fi fan, and most people consume shows and whatnot in English anyway. Hopefully you can provide a rig for thermoforming an acetate bubble. No, that's not going to happen. We'll provide a bubble that you can print using clear filament. If someone wants to go nuts on it, they can do that, but this will be in 3 parts, basically, with the frame. So we'll see how it ends up. I don't know. Right now it's just a concept, but yeah. It sounds like a long time to journey without vowel movement. Well, there's vowels in there, and Swedish has 4 more vowels than English. Y is a vowel, and then we have or, which are additional letters. They're the ones with the A with a circle on top, the A with 2 dots, and the O with 2 dots. So yeah. Anyway, I feel like we're going in circles. We're not going to get much done on this today, so I'm actually going to end things in a minute. We're just going to have one last look. Oh yeah, and if that phaser turret doesn't get unlocked with this, I'll just add it to the whatchamacallit, the sorry, trying to think clearly, Ben. No coffee. I don't drink coffee, but I drink energy drinks, and usually a couple a day, and I miss them. So yeah, sorry, I've completely lost track and train of mind, so I'm just going to go up to the top. Thank you guys if you've supported this already. Please follow the links at the bottom of this video if you want to know about the sale. You do have a very limited time to take advantage of it. I do recommend people try out the tribes because you'll get those free models regardless. If you don't want to stay on, make sure you cancel. I don't know if it's an automatic subscription, but I would assume there's something like that. So just to be fair, we're not really out after your money. We'd like to, well, we are, but we'd like to earn it. So yeah, we don't want to do anything scummy. So thank you guys for joining us today. We probably will have a Thursday stream next week as well, because my wife has 2 race days in a row. She works at a horse track. They happen to fall on the next 2 Fridays, so we'll just do the streams a little bit earlier, and we will be back then. So I want to thank you all for joining me for like the 15th time. Hope you enjoyed the show and tell. Hope you're excited for what's coming up, and we will see you soon. Bye guys.
Bye.